It is our first Monday since school started, and today is my first day with my extended planning time in the mornings. So what I have on my agenda for today is I am going to be getting all of our notebooks set up to expedite time this afternoon because we are behind in science, and I am going to go ahead and get their Bluebont learning books labeled with their class number because their class numbers are now solidified. They're pretty set in stone. Any students we have transfer out and transfer in, we'll go ahead and just like swap out the book based on the number. But as far as kids moving from class to class, the logistics of that are pretty much done. In addition to that, I need to put together all my data for my GT kids this year. So I need to comb through our list of kids we use Skyward, and I'll write all of the kids who are identified as GT into a spreadsheet. I'll cross-examine that with my list of GT kids from last year because sometimes they get mislabeled in the system. So I want to make sure that any students that qualify for GT last year have that G next to their name so that they can start going to GT next week. I'll also pull their end of year data on reading and math, and I'll begin setting my calendar and reminders to be checking data for the beginning of the year stuff that'll be starting next week, because that's how we start to kind of flag kindergartners to keep an eye on and potentially get GT testing done, as well as any new arrivals on our campus. Once I've done that, then I can go ahead and start looking at our school garden. My goal this week is to go ahead and get the beds mostly weeded. Once they're weeded, I can go ahead and get our garden club stuff all started. I don't want to have the kids necessarily going in and weed them right off the bat for garden club because one, it's going to take me a little bit of time to get that club off the ground, and two, we have a lot of plants in there that are very salvageable. We have a lot of cilantro and parsley and green onions planted in our garden right now that self-sow very well or that grow back. And so I want to make sure we can save those plants. And then the greenhouse that I typically use to get my plants for my house, I'm going to try and swing by there sometime, probably not this weekend, but the next weekend, pick up some fall plants for us. Sometimes we get a donation from Bonnie Plants, and I'm hoping we do this year, but like I don't want to hold my breath and then not get it. And so I'm really looking forward to that club because that club is it's good for my heart. Last but not least, I looked at my kids' data and they're really struggling with place value in terms of multiplying by 10 to change place value. And they were on the uptick. They were doing really well with it. And then on Friday, we introduced metric units into it, and it's got them all discombobulated. So today I went ahead and pulled an anchor chart from our resources. That'll work really well as a fill in the blank thing in their journal. I am gonna go ahead and get that glued in for them this morning. That way it's ready to go for their warm up today. But it's gonna be good. I'm expecting to see some aha moments this week now that we're kind of in a routine. And I need those aha moments at this point in the game. I told one of our ICs last week that in terms of math instruction, I'm expecting my goal is to have my pacing mostly down by next Tuesday. That's the goal I gave myself. So by next Tuesday, I want to be able to start and stop at the designated time for our math instruction. And that way I can start devoting a little bit more effort into our science instruction. Because right now I'm not devoting as much effort into that because that's an area I feel more confident in. But our students do need it. So it's gonna be a great day. I'm excited. I had a good restful weekend for the most part. And we're gonna learn some math today. Today went really well. I was able to get through their lab safety quiz stuff. I was able to get through introducing the scavenger hunt, getting it glued in. And so they'll be working on their lab tool vocabulary over the course of the next week or so. During their independent time, when they finish their work, they can go around the room, they can look for the different lab tools, and they can fill out their little chart. So that's kind of some like passive review they'll be doing for science. That'll help me make up some ground. And then in math, I made it through most of the lesson today. I was able to get an exit ticket out of every kid that was there today. So hopefully I have some more data going into tomorrow. But tonight I'm definitely going to be looking over those lab safety quizzes, hopefully getting their first grade in the grade book. It should be an easy 100 because I made an open note with their journal stuff from the other day. And then I also am hoping they did okay on the exit ticket today. We went over expanded notation, we talked about unit form, and we talked about standard form. So it was a little bit easier of a lesson than the transferring units and metric, which was what they were really struggling with on Friday. But my district has math doodles as a resource. So I'm definitely going to be using the doodle page over metric, probably on Thursday as their warm-up. That's what I'm going to do. Tomorrow for their warm-up, I'm using the math doodle just over place value. So they have a place value rainbow in their math notebooks right now. We'll fill out the place value doodle page together tomorrow as their warm-up. We'll do the little review they have for it the following day, and then we'll do the metric system doodle. So I'm seeing things coming out. And I think I'll feel more comfortable about it once I get some assessment data, which I should get at the end of this week. We have our mid-unit assessment, so I'm hoping some of this stuff is sticking. I'm hoping I'm not doing a terrible job of teaching math. It's been a hot second, but till tomorrow.